yeah. Hey, you my heart on my sleeve. I need you to read my mind. Put me to the test. Anybody blessed by them things on your screen that you find online. I just wanna check, how could you forget that the life we live ain't all we have?
Guys, look at this absolutely gorgeous weather we have today. Finally, it is starting to feel like summer, which means it's time to start thinking about drifting. So the Z won't really need too much work to prepare it for drifting season, seeing as I had it ready for ice drifting only a few months ago. It's basically just going to need some alignment and ride height tweaks, but the main thing is going to be fiberglass repairs. Okay, so I've got the body kit on the floor here, and it has definitely seen better days, that's for sure. But I think I'm going to be able to salvage it for one more season. So the goal for today is going to be to fix all the broken parts as much as I can, which is going to involve doing a bunch of fiberglass patches and then probably a little bit of spray paint. Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about how it all looks from the outside. Like, maybe I'll shoot some paint over that, but I don't have any more of the actual same color. So, yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, also before I forget, I know I've gained a few subscribers since the last time I did anything with this car. So, for those of you who are newer to my channel, this is my Nissan 350Z, which I've had for, I think, about 3 years now. When I bought it, it was not completely stock, but pretty close. And yeah, in the past few years, I have built it into this fairly simple but effective entry-level drift car. This car doesn't have any power upgrades whatsoever. It's really just suspension parts and like the most simple bolt-on angle kit you can possibly buy. It's literally just a steering rack spacer. And then I've got a hydraulic handbrake and bucket seat and steering wheel, all that good stuff. And then, of course, all the aesthetic modifications, because if you know me, you know that style is everything to me when it comes to cars. So making this thing look good is basically my main priority, and so that's also why we are repairing the body kit today. Okay, so basically the stuff that I'm going to be trying to repair today is areas like this where it's actually cracked all the way through and is like the material is separating. So I'm going to try to get that all back together so it doesn't get any worse. Like stuff like this I think is fine, because I've patched that already before and it's holding together. So I think I'll leave stuff like that, but yeah, then there's also like this is kind of bad. And yeah, I don't know, I've patched over here before and this is lifting up, so I'll try and redo that. And you may be wondering what's going on with all these thin little bars. And this is my solution to keep the bumper on the car even when I hit stuff. And it actually works remarkably well. So anyway, I'll just have to straighten out some of these and obviously reattach that. But yeah, so basically I'm going to start by sanding any of the areas that I want to put new patches on, and like maybe removing edges like this, so that I can just start fresh with some new patches. So yeah, let's start sanding. Okay, I've got all these squares and rectangles cut for patches. So now it's time to mix my resin with the hardener. And yeah, basically the plan is to just soak these in resin and kind of lay them on the body kit pieces and flatten them out. And then let them dry that way. So yeah, pretty simple, but it's a really messy job, so I'm not sure how I'm really gonna film it, because I don't want to touch things when my hands are covered in resin. Yeah, anyway. Might just set it up as a time lapse. resin hardened before I got to everything. I'm probably not even halfway, so that kind of sucks. Anyway, let's try again. Okay, I got all the cracks patched up for the most part. There's some places that I'll need to do a second layer, but I'm just gonna wait for it to dry fully first. So, while we're waiting, I decided I'm gonna go for a ride on the bike. Because the weather is so nice, how could I not? Man, this feels really good to actually not be cold in the wind. What a beautiful day for riding. I'm really happy I bought this thing, man. This is awesome. Woo! Bro, that limiter sounds sick. Alright, we have a new day and the fiberglass work is pretty much finished. I've added an extra layer to the parts that needed it, and it's all dry now. So that step is pretty much finished. I would like to explain something quickly, though, before I move on, because I know I said earlier that my priority is to make the car look good, but I also said that I'm not going to worry too much about how the cracks in the body kit look from the outside. And that might be confusing, but basically the idea is I want the car to look good from a distance. So like for the spectators and the media people who are going to be at the drift events, the majority of those people are going to be viewing the car from no less than like 30 feet or something like that, give or take. And so the idea is that when I see the pictures and the videos after the event, that my car looks good in those. But I'm not going to be too concerned about making the car look perfect from, this distance. Because it just doesn't make sense to spend hours smoothing out every crack perfectly and repainting it with the exact color, because it's probably just going to get wrecked again at some point. I just wanted to clear that up because I realized that it may have been confusing what I said before. Now, all that being said, I am going to do a little bit of touch-up paint on some of these areas where the paint is all flaking off. I don't have the exact right color, but that's okay. I found this spray paint at Walmart or somewhere, and, it's going to be close enough for these small little areas. So, let's do a little bit of arts and crafts. I know this isn't how you're supposed to use spray paint, but it's a little trick that I've learned for doing precision touch-ups like this. Alright, the touch-ups are all done, which means now it's time to mount the kit to the car and see how bad it fits. I'm guessing this is probably going to be a bit of a headache because, you know, after patching stuff, it's probably not all exactly the same shape as it was before. But, yeah, let's try it and see how it works. Okay, the front bumper is on, and it's not good, but it's not terrible. Honestly, the fitment on this bumper has never been fantastic. I think the worst part is right here. This really doesn't line up, but I think I can do something to bring that together a little bit. I want to try and pull out the corner of this fender, see if that'll do the trick, and maybe I can add a zip tie or something too, to just bring that in a little bit. Other side has like the same thing a little bit, but not nearly as bad, so I think that'll be okay. Yeah, obviously it's not fantastic, but it kind of just is what it is. I'm really just making things work with what I've got right now. So, onto the side skirts. Okay, the side skirts are both on, which was pretty straightforward, although I did notice there were a couple spots that I missed when doing the fiberglass repairs, so I'll just have to go back and do those. But yeah, otherwise it worked pretty well. So now it's time to move on to the rear bumper, which I'm thinking is going to be the hardest part, because it always was hard to line it up properly, and it was the most broken. So yeah, I'm not expecting it to fit great, but let's try it and see how it goes. The rear bumper is on for the most part. I just couldn't quite get this bottom bracket on this side fully on. So that's why this gap is pretty horrendous. So I'll just have to mess around with that bracket and try and bend it back into the right shape. But otherwise, everything's on there. It's pretty solid. So yeah, not too bad. Overall, obviously it's not fantastic, but it's decent. Everything's in place and secure, so I'll make it work for one more season. Okay, progress update. All the parts are on and fully secured. I was able to fix this gap a little bit by pulling out the fender, so that's pretty decent now. I adjusted that rear bumper bracket, so that's all secure now. Put the matching wheels on the back, so now the fitment is a lot better. Also did my long exhaust tips, which I really love how those look. So I got those back on there. Yeah, this bumper is fixed now, so that's all solid. Yeah, and I adjusted the ride height as well a little bit, so I can just fit a piece of 2x6 underneath the body kit all the way around, which is all I need, so that I can drive the car up to be able to get a jack underneath. So yeah, it's looking pretty good, just needs a little bit of a rinse. And yeah, then I think that's pretty much it.
I know you know this, but looking back, I would be so sad if I didn't ask. Yeah, did you know that summer's back? We were alone, chilling in what we had. I know you know this, but looking back, I would be so...
Alright, there we go. The Z is ready for drift season. All I have to do now is find a bunch of tires to burn. As for the other two vehicles, they're both doing great. They're chilling. The only problem is days when the weather is really nice, it's super hard to choose between the bike and the Miata. but honestly, that's a very nice problem to have if you ask me. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. In the next one, I have a bit of a experiment to do on the Miata, so stay tuned for that. But as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.